Today, we're unlocking our T5 archers, baby, and we'll talk about whether or not it's worth speeding up toward your T5 siege units, and we're even going to go spend some gems in More Than Gems. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and today, 1.5 years into our playing this account. That's right, this account was created on the death, the zeroing of Solimar's account 534 days ago. We finally have the trifecta of T5 at our doorstep: cavalry, infantry, and archers. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides designed to help you get value and smash your enemies, then do me a favor, smash that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos and throw a like on this video. We're unlocking our T5 archers, and it has been a journey with this account, migrating from several kingdoms to finally land in 1723, where things are really quite solid. And so, we're going to go now and do that final crucial speed up. The last research speed ups I will probably be spending for a very, very long time in the academy, and we're going to talk about why. Because you see, although I think there's a lot of value to having your infantry, archers, and cavalry at T5, right now, poor siege units are basically nearly worthless. I'm not saying you can't mobilize them for war. In fact, we've traded pretty well with cavalry, battling against Attila Takeda in the right context. I'll have a card up in the top if you'd like to see exactly how we mobilized our siege units. But also, Chisgule, the same human, is going to say, but also when Imperium Kingdoms people are deleting their siege, compared to having more players in your kingdom, you'd rather have more players than have people have their siege units. So that whole dynamic is weird. I'm not going to spend anything but research speedups on the siege units. And in fact, I'm probably not even going to use any research speedups on that. I'll probably use all of them in the Season of Conquest. So I'm basically never spending another research speedup in here in the military or economic technology after this moment. So we'll go and we'll speed this up, and I'll say that you should try to time with a really important event. Right now, for us, it's the Mightiest Governor, Sprint for the Win, so it's not the worst time on the last day of the Mightiest Governor. However, 10 minutes of speed up, boom, baby! There it is. Now, I need to go and queue up my siege unit research. I should get a rune. I should ask for a title. I'm not going to make you watch that. What I am going to talk about, however, very briefly, is two things. First of all, a quick review of all of the requirements to get to this point. That way, if you're new to the game, you can see exactly what it takes to get T5. I do want to remind everyone that in order to unlock a single T5 unit, you have to complete all of the economic technology. Yes, literally all of it. This is a low-ish volume of speedups required, but a high volume of resources to get that done. From there, in the military technology, you have to have all of the individual tech for that specific unit type. So if you want to do infantry, you'd have to have Woots, Steel, and Scudam, these two right over here, maxed to 10. You have to have Medical Corps, Combined Arms, and Encampment, maxed to 10. And then, and only then, could you do the Royal Guards. Once you've done your first T5 units, the remaining are much, much easier, because all you'll need to do at that point is the additional two things that are needed for the individual unit type. So it's Bodkin arrows and pavis for archers, and stirrups and plate armor for cavalry. That just gives you a sense of how much it speeds up after you unlocked your first T5 unit, and you're getting a ton of stats along the way. Now you may be wondering, Chisgule, why in the world are you Britain? Britain is a noob civilization, and you would be right. This is actually the civilization I started with. I should have swapped to something a long time ago. I should have swapped probably to Germany, and then in KVK, switched to some other civilization for fighting. But because I kept thinking, well, the troop training speed is what I really need. This is an account that, like, hey, I've got, 2 accounts and a farm. I don't always spend my action points perfectly. So switching to Germany, the AP recovery is not going to do much for me. In a world in which we can now take our Ethelfled heads and turn them into value, literally being able to get currency over here, it is sort of a different story for, switching more frequently with civilizations. I actually think the context has changed profoundly. I have a ton of currency that I can use. It would be very reasonable for me to swap, but I have a suspicion we're going to get a KV pop here really soon. And I'm going to be switching to a warring civilization in no time anyways. So I'm just going to stick with Britain, enjoy the troop training speed, which I will fully take advantage of. But then as soon as I'm in a KVK and we're doing any fighting at all, yeah, I'm going to switch to a more combat-oriented civilization. 100% going to do that. However, we do have some T5 units that finished. I mean, let's just speed these up too and train our first T5 archers, which are going to be the British longbowmen. Boom. We are going to upgrade from T4 to T5. In case you were wondering, the short answer to why I'm upgrading from T4 to T5 is that if what you want is the most punch possible, yeah, T5 are definitely the play. If you want a more resource-efficient unit to heal, and you want to do lots and lots and lots and lots of field fighting, and you're low on resources, in that case, you'd want to fight with T4. In my world, I'm going to bring 1 or 2 marches. I don't have that many commanders on this account, so I'm going to have 1 or 2 marches, full T5, fully expertised, decent gear, right? Like decent gear, not perfect, but really solid on those 2 marches, and I'm going to use T5, and I got plenty of resources for that. So I can sustain it. That's why I'm going that way. But for a lot of players, it makes a lot of sense to instead go the route of maintaining some amount of T4s instead of upgrading all of your T4s to T5s, which is the route that I personally am going to go on. Now, on the topic of equipment, and speed-ups, quite frankly, if we get a look, it is now the More Than Gems event. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. The More Than Gems event is absolutely fantastic. And I find myself wondering, Chisgule, is it right for you to spend gems on this account? You see, when I needed a VIP level, it was a really easy choice to go and spend gems on VIP. But I'm more than 200,000 VIP away from VIP 15. Oof. Yeah, I mean, if I was spending lots of money on this account, I could go and I could spend my gems on this. But I'm not. And it's going to take me a really long time. And being 25,000 gems closer to the next tier of VIP gives me literally zero benefit. And yeah, I'll get some stuff from More Than Gems, but there are so many events that are rolling around in this game that have participation rewards. I think I'd rather have my gems for all those events. The only exception here that might be worthwhile, I mean, you could look at this and say, well, Chisgule, you got 25,000 gems, right? What about this 7,000 gem tier? Couldn't you get something for 7,000 gems? And that would be worth it for the 5 sculptures? And let's just talk about that for a second. If I were to spin a Wheel of Fortune 10 times, then I would get all of the goodies for spinning the Wheel of Fortune, and I would get a bonus of 5 legendary commander sculptures. So if I were to go and I were to do this, I suppose the bonuses here are in total perhaps better than the 10 spot on a Wheel of Fortune for a specific commander. I guess that's a reasonable assumption. And on top of that, I would be getting a few other things too, whatever the 7,000 gems worth of stuff is. Honestly, I am not convinced that for this account, at this stage of its development, that it makes a ton of sense for me to go and do this. Now, there are some exceptions here, and we should probably talk about those. The exceptions would be, and maybe I will go and spend for this. There are some exceptions. So if we go into the courier station, if there was an army expansion, a 50% army expansion, and it was, say, 50% off or more, like 1,500 gems is the total cost I would be looking to pay, then that will be a solid pickup in here. But currently, I don't see any of those. I don't necessarily need any of those either. So I'm kind of, we're close. 50% is 2,500 gems. That's not worth it. It needs to be 70% off for the 1,500 gem cost. That would be an interesting pickup. It's not here. I don't think it's worth spending gems to refresh this, even if it's counting toward More Than Gems. It's just not enough in here that I'm really hunting for. This would be a good time to get a peace shield in here if you didn't have any. Day plus long peace shields. No, the thing that I'm more interested in, perhaps, and would be correct for me to go and get, is in this VIP shop. And I've got to go get all of the things for resources here. However, what would I want to get is these 10% tokens. This is a really good time to stock up on 10% tokens if that's a thing you're going to be using in KVK and in PvP, which, yes, that actually will be very beneficial for me, especially since I'm bringing T5 troops. Looking in at my own supply here, I have 0. I have 0 of the 10% tokens, and I have 3 of the 50% expansions. So it would be very reasonable for me to pick up a 50% expansion if it was that 1,500 gem cost in the courier station. It wasn't, which is fine. But now is a perfect time for me to just stockpile a whole bunch of those 10% tokens. That way I've got them on hand, and instead of buying them one at a time when I'm in KVK, I buy them all now during a More Than Gems. I have a nice stockpile, and that's perfect. And for this stage of this account's growth, that's a great choice. Don't need the VIP. My castle's maxed, so I don't need Books of the Covenant. I would rather have the gems for wheel events, especially because you can pick the commander coming up. That sounds really exciting. But I do need to go now, and I need to pick these up. Now, between attack and defense tokens, I actually would say the defense tokens are slightly better. Are they 150 gems better per token? Probably not, especially not for an account of my stature where I'm not trying to be the garrison captain. I'm not trying to be the rally leader. I don't need the absolute min max very best of the best. The 150 gems off is fine here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to buy 10 of the attack tokens. Here we go. 10 of the attack tokens puts me at 6,000 gems spent. Then we need just a little bit more to tip me over. We'll get 1 of the defense tokens. And at that point, we may have already spent enough gems in the courier station. We're not quite there. Okay, we still need to do 250 gems worth of value here. I'll go, and I'll probably just pick up another speed up over here. And that'll do the trick. Here we go. An 8-hour speed up. We're almost there. Is there literally anything in the courier station that I would do for those final 10 gems? I guess I could do the gold for 11 gems. That's an easy top off. Done. And there we go. We get a few sculptures along the way. So at this point for this account, I might not even do this on the second day. I honestly don't know what I would be hunting for that I need above and beyond what I could do in an event. And before the existence of the Holy Knight's treasure, I would have said, oh, well, you definitely want to pick up the materials in the VIP shop. But now that the Holy Knight's treasure is here, I mean, it's not here this second, but, you know, it rotates in. I'm not so sure that that's the case. I don't think it's something that I would need to do to go and get materials here. I'd rather just use those gems, 2,400 a pop, for the 5 spin in the Holy Knight's treasure. That's a really great event. So I think that's where we land with our VIP shop spending. So in this video, we got our T5 archers unlocked. We talked about where to spend your gems and More Than Gems, and about the fact that I'm not going to use my research speedups, definitely not going to use my research speedups on T5 siege units, because I'll just slowly get them over time, and I'll use my speedups instead on Heroic Anthem and Season of Conquest technology. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. And if you want to see another T5 unlock video, I'll have a card up in the top. You can check that out. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.